Yes. Whoa, there you go. First mistake of the night.
Yes.
Only took 2 seconds to get that. It's Thursday, Keith.
Not even that.
No, it is Thursday.
No, 2 seconds.
Pardon?
Yes, it is Thursday, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
And
quite.
it's a day for celebration today. We're going to celebrate the vape.
Yes.
We'll have gusts.
It's a continuation of last week.
Oh, it's even better than last week.
Right.
There's more room for a start.
I noticed that.
And we're not sat on stools either.
No.
But we have gusts.
Gus.
We have gusts. We have got a hangout. The hangout is absolutely full of people. And I've just put it live on screen. Anybody watching live will see, at the moment, Matt Gurish sitting making like a steam train, celebrating the vape in Wales. Good evening to you, Matt.
Hello. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you, very pleased.
Hardly see you.
Well, that's because he's celebrating the vape. That's what it is. Now, on the extreme left is Lorian Jolly, Cerulean C. Lorian, good evening.
Good evening, Dave.
You didn't come up. Speak again.
I said good evening, Dave. Can you not hear me?
Yes, I can
there.
hear you, but we couldn't see you. We couldn't see you.
Okay, I'm
So,
here now.
Lorian's here on behalf of the NNA. She is the acceptable face and the voice of the NNA on Radio 5 Live, which we shall discuss later on. But next to Lorian, or two along from Lorian, is from VIP, the Welshman, Rydian Man, isn't it? Red, are you there, mate?
Isn't it? Wasn't it?
Haven't I? Go on, speak again, Red. You're not up yet.
Isn't it? Wasn't it? Yes, I am. VIP.
There you are. He's VIP, isn't it? Right. There you
Right.
go. Whose coat is that jacket, Red? I see. Yes.
Right.
Now, beside... What?
My jacket.
That's fair enough. That's all we needed to know.
Is it
Ne-
some football team?
No, it's a rugby team, I think.
Oh.
It says... I think it says Rydian on it. I don't know. Oh, it's Ireland. Look, you can see the badge of Ireland
right.
on it, yes. Right along there from Rid is one of the other man of the moment, Simon Thurlow, again of the NNA. Simon, are you there? Simon,
Hey.
speak up.
Hello.
Keep going.
I'm speaking up.
Yeah, you've got to keep that's it.
Oh,
It's taken a while to switch between the two, so we've got Simon Thurlow there from Wales. I bet you can't guess what we're talking about.
yes.
You all right, Simon?
Alright, I'm not too bad.
Good. Have you sobered up yet?
Ish.
Ish.
You know what I mean?
That's
Got to keep it going, haven't you?
absolutely right. And then, along from Simon, we have the bountiful beautyliciousness that is the one and only Sav. Good evening, Sav.
Good evening.
Again,
Hello.
yeah, that's it. It's very, very slow to switch, and unfortunately, I can't reach it from here to do the switches. So Sav's going to be doing what Sav does best, which is it's making sure I don't bloody panic is what she does. Yes, keeps me sane and straight, which is always good. And then bringing up the rear, which is not the way to have put it, really. Again, from the NNA, we have Sarah Jakes, and we're going to be talking about what Sarah was doing yesterday as well. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, David. Hello, Keith. How are you?
Hello.
There you are, that was quick. Yes, we're well, thank you. And there's so much to talk about tonight that we'd probably better get on and talk about it, hadn't we?
Yes.
Now, have you seen the news, Keith? Do you know what happened in Wales yesterday?
No. I didn't see the news last night.
Didn't you?
Or this morning.
Well, it was on the Welsh news, but I don't know whether it was anywhere else. What I'm going to do, I think, Simon, I think you should tell us what happened in Wales yesterday. Go on.
Well, what happened in Wales was something completely unexpected. As we're all aware, the Assembly was sitting for the very last time before the elections in May yesterday. And we were all expecting the Public Health Wales bill to be voted through as it is, with e-cigs in it. And then one of the Labour AMs managed to upset Plaid Cymru and change the whole balance of things. And as a result of upsetting Plaid Cymru decided as a block vote that they were not going to support the Public Health Wales bill. And miracle upon miracle, the Public Health Wales bill and therefore the ban on vaping in public enclosed spaces failed.
Really?
Yes.
After all the build-up.
After all the build-up, it failed. It disappeared up Drakeford's Jacksy. And I'm not going to bring film of this because there's film up on the web, courtesy of Dave in Gloucestershire, has put this up, and it's well worth the 25 minutes to watch it, but dearie me, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It failed. Now, Simon and Rydian, if you both unmute now and just drop back in and out, do you honestly think that Plaid just did that because there was a jibe at Plaid Cymru from the Labour benches?
Personally, yes, I do. There's a lot of animosity between the two. Plaid have supported Labour in getting a number of different bits of legislation through over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think Leighton Jenkins really peed them off with his comments yesterday. And it was quite ironic because I was watching the whole thing live yesterday because I've been off, not in work this week. So I was able to watch the whole thing through the afternoon. And it was quite ironic because when the jibe came out, it was Simon Thomas, an AM who I actually know because I've worked with the guy in the past. He actually came back to them and he said his immediate quip back to Leighton Jenkins was, "You may regret that at some point in the future." I don't think he actually, when he said that, actually realised how much Leighton Jenkins was going to regret that within the next 2 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because from everything I saw during the course of trying to catch up on the newsy bits today, everything I was seeing was that this was as a result of the spat. But I'd also heard that Plaid had gone to Labour and said, look, drop the e-cigs bit and we'll vote everything else through. That was, I think, prior to this cheap date jibe, and then basically decided, bugger it, because Labour had said no to dropping the e-cigs thing. Is that what you know, Rid?
Unfortunately, I didn't have exactly great coverage of the stream yesterday. I would actually like to think that it wasn't just the jibe, but it was everything else as well. Not just the, we take offence because you've taken a dig to the lower area of Plaid Cymru. But it was completely out of the blue. I could not... when I actually managed to get any sort of feed, it was actually the result of the vote, and I could not believe my eyes as the presiding officer said, "I now cast my vote against." You could just see, how disappointed she was, because she was from Welsh Labour.
Well,
so
yeah.
I don't know whether it was the jibe itself that caused the change of stance, but I wish Plaid Cymru had a united stance from the beginning.
What do both you and Simon, what do you make of this notion that Ellen Jones has tweeted today that she's not going to quote a lot of Labour people who have said how happy they are that the bill didn't get through? What do you make of that?
Well, I've actually heard from a number of different sources that there were quite a few Labour AMs who were not happy that e-cigs was in the bill in the first place anyway. So I can well believe that. Now, I'm not going to say the names who I've heard were against it, but let's just say quite a few of them are ministers. Not backbenchers, they're frontline ministers.
Ministers? Ministers. Right.
Yeah,
So,
they are frontline ministers.
okay, then
Quite a few of them.
the thing that I suppose a lot of folks in Wales and the rest of us throughout the UK are wondering is, do you think there's any chance this is going to get resurrected in the next assembly?
That's just what I was going to ask.
Well, strangely enough, sorry, Ridian. I was just going to say, I saw a report from ITV News Wales earlier on this evening, and they had quite an extensive report on it, about the spat and everything that went on. And the consensus is amongst the journalists, and let's be fair, these journalists tend to be a lot closer to these politicians than we are. The consensus among the journalists was, yes, the public health bill probably will come back in the new assembly because the vast majority of it had cross-party support and would have passed had e-cigs not been in it.
Yes.
What the journalist reckons is that the e-cigs is too hot a subject for them to tackle again, and that will not come back.
Ah.
Now, that's what I call good news. I hope that is very much the case. I really do. It makes a lot of sense because, I mean, I was looking at the other stuff, and yes, aside from it being a little bit nanny, and it seemed relatively sensible, but if they take e-cigs and all that kind of stuff out, then, and if it's going to get through, then that's fine. I kind of don't have too much of a problem with that, I don't think. Is anything happening in chat here? Because I haven't been able to follow this. It's been blazing by me.
Yeah, I've got a few comments from chat. And I've also got a poem, which I'll save to the end.
The perm?
But Bob Pearson says it's a poor reflection on the state of politics because it's all playground stuff. Gordon has said, the thing that bothers me is that it wasn't the evidence that swung it.
Yes.
Hayes has said those Labour AMs should have stood up for their principles, and Y Cherry Wise said there is no way that the huge vapour outcry on this didn't have an effect. It wasn't all that dumb comment. And we have a poem from Very Boring who said, Labour lied, then they jibed, on went the bill. The vote was had, Labour was mad, bye Bill, bye. Celebrate the vape.
Celebrate the vape. That's what we're all about tonight, is celebrating the vape. So, ladies and gentle pongs, if you have alcoholic or other beverages in front of you, could I ask you, please, to raise your glasses to our colleagues in Wales for a job well done on behalf of the NNA members over there, the VIP members over there, and Save e-cigs. Raise a glass in toast and celebrate the vape in Wales. Get in!
Yeah.
Which, actually, yes, I suppose we've got to say it, Save e-cigs finished today as a campaign organisation. Save e-cigs is no more. It has gone out on the high of the bill falling in Wales, which, you know, I can kind of understand that. That's what you might expect. That it's good to go out on a high, and I want to just record my thanks to everybody involved with Save e-cigs over the last, how long is it, Sav? 4 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Sav and I spent quite an amount of, whoops, that doesn't work. Do it that way, David, that's better. Sav and I spent quite a bit of time working alongside Save e-cigs in Brussels. Those of you that have been around a long while will remember. We were over there with Save e-cigs banners, and they organised an awful lot, and you know, we kind of worked very closely with them, and that's kind of before the NNA was there, before anything else was there, really. It was Save e-cigs.
Was that be 4 years ago?
It must be now.
Bloody hell.
2010, MXL 364 came in, and late 2011, early 2012, that the whole TPD nonsense started. So it's 4 years ago, and in the last 4 years, I think I can say with my hand on my heart, it's in here somewhere. Keep going, you fool. They've done a bloody good job. In fact, all vapers, all together, all of the advocates have done a bloody good job, and things would have been an awful lot worse. So please do go to the Save e-cigs website and give them your thanks. There's a blog up there. Do that, please, because I think that would be extremely nice to do, just to let them know and give them your thanks, because had it not been for them, we might not be where we are today. Had it not been for the NNA as well, we might not be where we are today. And Sarah, who is now unmuting her microphone, I hope, Sarah Jakes was at a meeting yesterday, weren't you, Sarah?
I certainly was. Yeah, very interesting meeting. Would you like to hear about it?
I would love to hear about it again and again and again.
It's kind of hard to know where to start. I mean, you know, when you think when NNA started, to think where we're, the sort of places we're getting now, it's incredible. But I mean, what this meeting was, it was at Richmond House, the Department of Health building in Whitehall, and it was a roundtable discussion on e-cigs. But it's what it is. It's to inform the government's 10-year tobacco control strategy. Although there was no actual discussion of tobacco control in this meeting, this was all e-cigarettes.
Okay.
Oh.
So to give you an idea of the sort of people that were there, there was John Britton, Ollie Kershaw, Deborah Arnott, Beryl Keeley from the MHRA, Alette Addison from the Department of Health, Martin Dockrell and Elspeth Henderson from PHE, the Association of Directors of Public Health, better known as ADFUC, were there.
I'm sorry, what are they called?
ADFUC.
Who came up with ADPHUK?
Pardon?
ADPHUK.
Yeah, ADFUC.
So they must have known about that when they did it.
Alison Cox from Cancer Research UK, and who else was there? Helen Waters from the Faculty of Public Health, and Robert Wilson from the BMA. So it was quite an all-star cast, I have to say. So the purpose of it was to discuss 3 questions, which were: what are the risks in relation to e-cigarettes, and are there any additional measures needed to manage them? What are the opportunities and what additional steps are needed to realise them? And the third one was: what would you like to see in the new tobacco control plan in relation to e-cigarettes? So it was, it was quite a wide-ranging discussion, but I have to say, everybody there was positive on e-cigs. Well, when I say everyone, obviously the BMA and ADFUC weren't quite as positive.
God, you're enjoying that ADFUC thing too much.
No. But they didn't. What they didn't do was get in the way of anybody else. They weren't putting across the the normal anti-arguments that we've all got used to hearing. And the big surprise for me was Helen Waters from the Faculty of Public Health, who basically pretty early on in the meeting made the point, well, should we really be worrying about whether or not never smokers take up e-cigarettes and become dependent on nicotine? Why do we care?
Run that one by me again, Sarah, because this is music to my ears.
She basically said, should we really be that bothered if never smokers take up vaping, even if they become, well, she used the word addicted to nicotine, dependent on nicotine, if nicotine is harmless? Should we be worrying about that at all?
Do you know that? And that's from the chair of the Faculty of Public Health.
Can I just ask, was there any ministerial representation at this meeting?
Not at that meeting. The idea of the meeting will be to feed back. They're going to report on the points that were raised at the meeting back to Jeremy Hunt.
Really?
And basically the recommendations and comments that came up in that meeting will be what they use to inform their 10-year strategy.
Right.
So this whole thing then is going to inform ministers. It's going to inform the government. And basically, you've got the chair.
Yes, quite. Yeah.
And everybody being in agreement that basically saying, well, so what the hell? It doesn't matter if people who've never smoked pick up on e-cigs. It just doesn't matter. That's basically the size of it. Yes, Sarah?
Well, I mean, that was one of the comments, and I assume that will be fed through. And I'll tell you who was absolutely on fire at that meeting was Deborah Arnott. She seemed to be channeling Dave.
Sorry?
She never put a foot wrong. She was pushing the Department of Health to push the government towards spearheading a campaign against the World Health Organization plans in when is that, November, COP7?
Yes.
One of her comments, she went strong on perception of harm as well. But one of her comments was that the UK needs to be leading the charge against the World Health Organization plans to categorise e-cigarettes as tobacco products, which, as we all know from COP6, is their intention. I was kind of sitting there thinking, well, there's not going to be much more for me to say. Everybody else is saying it for me. But I did manage to bring up the issues around focusing on e-cigarettes as purely as a smoking cessation tool, rather than recognising the fact that it's a consumer product. It's people use it recreationally, and it's not. And that's not a problem. It's one of the attractions for smokers. So, I did manage to get that in there, and nobody really complained about that. There was also some discussion on heat not burn products and also nicotino. Basically, the Department of Health kind of emptied a carrier bag of those things onto the desk and said, "What do we do about these?"
And what did they say to do about nicotino then?
Well, nicotino, I kind of jumped straight in on nicotino because I use nicotino. So I said, I just said, we'll leave it alone. It's as safe as it can possibly be. All it is seaweed and nicotine. It's very, very adult marketing. What's the problem? Why do you need to do anything? When it came to heat not burn. Heat not burn is already going to be covered by the TPD anyway, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's classified as a novel tobacco product.
Right. So it is going to be regulated anyway. But kind of the view around the room was that those sort of products and the ones in the pipeline. I know there's I've got something called an iFuse thing coming up, haven't they?
Yes.
And Plume was another one that they were talking about, but. The view in the room was that, well, if they are found to be 90% safer or whatever than smoking cigarettes, well, they've got a place in the kind of armoury of harm reduction, in that some smokers will prefer them, and so, you regulate them accordingly. If they're 90% safer, then you regulate them accordingly. So, to be honest, there was nothing really that I could disagree with. The guy from BMA didn't really say much at all. His main point was that doctors would have more confidence in recommending e-cigarettes if there were more medicinally licensed products. So his was more a sort of an appeal to the MHRA to get more medicinally licensed products to come through that route. John Britton wasn't particularly impressed by that, because he said, well, basically, anything that delivers nicotine can help with smoking cessation, and the implication being, well, so what's your problem? And AdFuck, all they came up with was they'd done a survey of their DPH.
Hang on,
Sarah.
I'm sorry. What's happening here is that both Keith and I have fallen all over the place, and it's not helped by Neil Robinson, who says, and I'm sorry, Sav, if I'm treading on toes here, but you've shoved it in the other chat so that I can see it. Neil Robinson is saying, I wonder if the leader, the chair of AdFuck, is called Headfuck. Is that what he's... Oh dear me. Sorry, I've been giggling about that for a while. I've been trying not to let it come over. So, sorry, where were you?
I'm going to call her Hannah then now. That'll stop some of the hilarity. She reported on a survey that they'd done amongst directors of public health, which came out with 60% of them were in favour of public space bans, basically, similar to smoking bans. And Martin Dockrell dealt with that quite neatly by asking her what evidence that they'd relied on to come to that conclusion. And she said she didn't know. All they'd done was ask the question. So, it kind of swept the point under the carpet and nobody kind of took any notice of it. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much what the meeting itself was. And then I had about, I suppose, an hour and a half chatting to Martin Dockrell and Oliver Kershaw, and we ended up in the pub like you do. And,
I can't believe you ended up in a pub, Sarah.
and further chats there. So, I had one of those, you'll always remember where you were when you found out about Wales moments, when the message from Linda Ball came up on my phone and I didn't have my glasses, so I had to get Martin Dockrell to read it to me. So I found out about Wales from Martin Dockrell sitting in a pub.
Okay. You've got a question, Keith.
No, I mean, doesn't all that sound encouraging? But maybe I'm cynical. Can't things change when they actually get into the hands of politicians? I mean, have you got a view on that, Sarah?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think, the best you can hope for is to be listened to.
Yes.
And that meeting, I think, I can't see how, when you consider the kind of people who were there, they really had made an effort to sort of pick the kind of leaders from all of the NGOs and the obviously the academics.
Yes.
And when you're getting that sort of information, I just don't see how you can ignore it.
Well, yes.
Yeah, one would like to think that. Yes,
Yes, exactly. I mean, sorry, I'm riding faders here, trying to keep volumes level.
Right.
It seems to me that we're looking at what was possibly an opportunity for some backsides to be very genteelly spanked yesterday to bring people into line. And it's interesting to note that one of the invitees in particular, one Simon Capewell, did not turn up, and I suspect he knew he was going to get his backside smacked, and by the sounds of it, not least by the what did you call her, Hannah? You know what's going to happen now, don't you? She's going to get the nickname Hannah Headfuck.
Oh, sorry, I'm showing my ignorance here. What's the significance of this Simon Capewell?
I keep forgetting you don't do Twitter or the internet, do you? No. If you were doing Twitter or the internet, you would know that Simon Capewell takes every opportunity he can find to have a dig at vapors and vaping, not necessarily in that order. If Stan Glantz, you've heard of Stan Glantz?
Oh, I've heard of him.
If Stan puts his usual gob full of shite out, then Simon Capewell is guaranteed to retweet it all over the place, and he'll mention his other bum chum, Simon Chapman.
So what's his background, this Capewell?
Well, he's from Liverpoolish. He's up from the northwest somewhere,
Right.
and he's a serial truffer. If there's a health issue, he seems to start up a new NGO and get shed
So
loads
is
of
he
grants.
a health professional?
No, he's a tosser.
All right. Right.
Apparently he is a health professional, but I would classify him as a tosser. He's a truffer. I mean, look, he's been, and people in the hangout will back me up on this one. He's been wirreting on about e-cigs for months and months and months. It's about all he's tweeted about and all he's retweeted. Then we get the Jamie Oliver tax, the fat-tongued freak tax, I like to call it, announced in the budget yesterday. And suddenly, did you notice that there was an announcement today that he's part of another bloody NGO that's going to fight sugar obesity? I don't know what it's called, but he's in Gulp. So, and they'll all be getting grants, and I've got no doubt, that he's buying himself a fast car and a big yacht. I'm not going to mention mucky women because I don't think he's into them. He's a tosser. And I'm not pulling me punches. I've had enough. I'm celebrating the vape. Bugger him.
Yeah, the sugar tax.
Let's not go there. Let's try and keep it light. Let's celebrate the vape. What? Go on.
I mean, did you see what the headline was on the well, you wouldn't, on the 8 o'clock news tonight, which really added to the whole European debate. The main headline on Sky Television News was the fact there'd been a breakthrough on the question of VAT for feminine products.
Oh, you mean the tampon tax?
28 European ministers had agreed there should be more flexibility.
Well, yeah, if they're too stiff, they won't go in easily enough.
And that really angered me, that the British government couldn't make a decision themselves on that question of abolishing VAT on those products.
Are you saying #leave EU?
I am.
Good lad. Good lad. Good.
I mean, I just really thought that summarised the whole situation
that's the
to
thing,
me.
isn't it? I mean, we are.
Sorry, I'm digressing.
Well,
but
no, it's fine because it just demonstrates that we are where we are because of Europe. The TPD has come in and suddenly everybody's climbing on a bloody bandwagon. They're coming out with evidence that they think, actually, they know that Linda McAvan wanted. Linda McAvan wanted evidence that e-cigs were bad. And on that basis, you've got the likes of Glance and a whole load of other people trying to ingratiate themselves with the Eurocrats to come up with lies of evidence. Now, I should point out, if you are watching this, you know about YouTube. That's great. I have my own personal channel, Hi-Fi Stud, and I put a video out. You probably don't know it again, but that American video with Ms. Cuomo, I want to call her Perry Cuomo, but not.
Very cool.
So I've edited her video and fixed it for her. It's up on my channel. No doubt somebody will find a link and plaster it in. I should have organised this before, but I didn't. But go and get that and spread it widely, because here's another one telling bloody lies. We don't like lies. We like to celebrate the vape. And I'm going to bring Lorian in now. Lorian, are you there? Lorian.
What?
Come on, keep talking. You're not there yet. Yes, we've got you now. So, right, yesterday, Radio 5 Live. Tell me about it. We've got no sound, Lorian. Try again.
I have a message from.
Right, Lorian, hang on a minute, love. We've got issues with sound on Lorian's connection. So look, while we try and get that sorted out, let's celebrate the vape. You may remember last week I was given a present by Mario Glover while she was here. And I did promise everybody I would have a look at it. So while we try and sort Lorian's sound out, let's have a look. The closey-uppy. And there's a little bit of something that I think Lorian might want to comment on as well. Here it comes. Don't you just love bed hair? At least I've got bed hair. What's left of it. I wanted to show you that present that Mario Glover gave me last week. I said I would do it in close-up. So here it is. I'm going to show you around it and explain why it's not something a beginner should use. But it is gorgeous. And here it is in all of its glory. In extreme close-up is a bottom button Epic SMPL simple, and it's a hybrid mod. I'm going to take a screwdriver to it because I want to know that I'm not going to scratch it. It's a presentation piece. It's a bottom button jobby, and that's where the battery would go in. But you will notice, because I've got it against a white background, there's a hole at the top, and it's what you call a hybrid. Let's just screw the screw back in. Bottom button job, and a hybrid. Right, so how does a hybrid work? Well, you'll be able to see that that's threaded and your device, your atomizer, simply screws into there, and its centre post is meant to make direct contact with the positive end of the battery. And that is where things can go wrong, because the whole of the body of this thing is the negative pole, if you like. And if therefore your device does not have, as this has here, as you can see, the centre post is proud. It's a long way proud. Yeah? Now, that centre post obviously is insulated from the rest of the body, as you will be able to see. It's not by much, but it is. This is a silo beast, by the way. So screwing that in, the battery would contact, the positive pole of the battery would contact that centre pin before it touches anything else. But let me just get something else, and this would be that something else. Now, look at that view from the side. That's as best an angle I can give you, and you can see that the centre pin is effectively, it's recessed, look. If I take that away, you can see. Now, if I was to use that, because it has no adjustable centre pin, the outside, the negative side of the circuit would contact the top pin of the battery in there, and that would complete a circuit. It would short out. The minute you press the button, it would short it. And in fact, if you got it slightly wrong, you could have a pocket fire. So hybrid tops, not for beginners. You have to know what you're doing. You can't just screw anything you like into there. It has to be an exposed centre pin, and it needs to be the right length, and your battery needs to be the right length, because if everything touches, well, it's just going to go. Also means if you've got any cracks in the battery casing, any exposure around, so here's the battery, right? Now this one is almost brand new. There are no cracks in the casing, and you'll see that it's got casing around here. This is the edge that presses against the bottom, or sits on the bottom, and the switch plunger comes up onto this centre part. So if any of that's gone, you could end up with a pocket fire. Very, very, very well worth being aware of that. But what I really wanted you to have a look at is the workmanship. This is handcrafted and personalised. You'll see here, this is St Cuthbert's cross. Also happens to be the Prince Bishop's cross that Durham has taken on, which has been put in there to personalise it for me, being a Mackham and a Durham lad born and bred. That's why that's there. And you can see the tooling marks, which I like. This is steampunkish, I suppose. But you can see the tooling marks, you can see that it's hand done, you can see where the soldering's occurred, and it's not just spot solder. This is really, really beautifully done. Everything is machined and bent and put on by hand to make it look as beautiful as it does, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, really, really gorgeous. It's artisanal, it's craftsman made. You don't see this all the time, do you? That's made with love. And you can see the work. This wasn't done in 5 minutes, was it? So there you go, that's it in close-up. Now then, I don't want to come across like a whinging bastard pom, but the fact of the matter is, I'm probably not going to use it on a daily basis for a number of reasons. One being, I don't trust myself. I've got to be honest, I don't trust myself. And these days I tend to use fully electronic, power controlled, temperature controlled, all of that kind of stuff. That's the first thing. Second thing is, you never know what you get with batteries these days. You've got to be so careful what you buy, and I like to know that I'm going to be reasonably safe. I don't think there's too much danger for me because I've got devices that will work perfectly on this, but I actually don't want to damage it. I don't want to take it out and use it. I will take it places so people can see it. As I say, I view this as a piece of art, and I'm ever so grateful and thankful that Mario got me this. It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm trying to be honest here. It's too good to use. Let's be right. So there you go. That was a look at it. It's come from, I keep on calling him Han Solo. Follow me on Twitter. I'll be follow Fridaying him tomorrow. He does some amazing work. Back to the studio. And back to the studio we are. Sorry, I was pressing the button like mad, but I hadn't clicked in the right place for that to work.
It's the drink.
It is the drink. It's definitely the drink. Just to point out, look, if you really know what you're doing with a hybrid, you're probably going to be fine. But battery safety is everything. If as beautiful as that mod is, if I was to give it to Keith, well, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't do it.
Blow myself up.
You could stand a good chance of doing it, because you just don't know what anybody's going to screw on. So kind of what I want to say is, if you are into that kind of mod, if you're into that kind of decoration, if you're into the steampunk, and I think it is absolutely bloody gorgeous. I mean, I'm nursing a semi now just watching the video, so that'll tell you, right? If you're into that, get hold of the Vape Slinger, let them know what you want, and take it from there. This little beastie is gonna go everywhere I go, so people can have a look at it.
Beautiful.
It's a piece of artwork, Keith. It really is.
I said that last week.
Yes, it's gorgeous, and you can feel the love. You can feel the love. Now we've got Sarah back. No, we haven't. We've got Lorien. It's the drink. I need more drink. I need more drink. We've got Lorien back. She's there, together with freshly washed hair and the slap put on. I know she did. She tweeted and let me know. You were doing radio yesterday, Mrs., weren't you? All over the place. Radio 4, Radio 5. I'm surprised you weren't on Coast Guard radio as well.
That would be nice, Rachel. No, so we'll do yesterday's Radio 5 first, because that's kind of the quickest. I had a message from Dick Puddlecoat saying that it was being covered on 5 Live phone-in. I couldn't listen because I had something else going on at the time. Then my husband rang me to say that I needed to listen. So I turned it on, just at the right time to hear poor Tom Pruitt being calm and lovely and trying his best to talk down the hysterical woman who was screaming about flavours and how she liked e-cigarettes, but flavours. And then this ridiculous man who swore blind that his son had taken up vaping sweet flavours, and then he'd gone to tobacco, and then he was smoking cigarettes, and it was all a bit bizarre. And I was on hold listening. I'm
going to say pansy, rose, and hydrangea at this point. He was a plant.
Yeah, I think so. It was so bizarre. And the funny thing was while I was waiting, because I didn't think I was going to get on, because I rang up 10 minutes towards the end. And she said when I rang up, look, he's got all these calls lined up, so he may not be able to get on. They rang me back straight away. Hopefully, it was the NNA thing. So I listened to all that, and I listened to the same woman screaming then at Tom, you want us to listen to all your anecdotes, and that's all they are, anecdotes, but you won't listen to this man with a story about his son, and it was all ridiculous. So I got on and spoke about flavours, because that was the topical thing. And what was nice is at the end of the programme, it was just left with me, Tom, the presenter, and so much felt like it closed. But flavours make you move away from tobacco taste. I mean, it's a good thing. It was all very positive. So yeah, I think I'm glad I missed the rest of the show, because it sounds like it wasn't great. But hopefully Tom and I got it to end on a bit of a high.
Yes, well, I'll dive in there and say I listened to the show from the start, but on catch-up, because I wasn't around when it went out live. And seriously, honestly, truthfully, what a load of rubbish. All I heard was quit, 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 quit. I'm using it like NRT, was the bottom line on it. Right the way through from the start. Nobody was saying that there was any enjoyment to be gained out of these things. That they weren't celebrating the vape. And the more I've thought about what Mario was said last week, the more I think she's right. We've got to get away from the whole idea that these things are for quitting smoking.
Exactly.
That's just a beneficial side effect of these things being that kind of thing. That's it's a side effect, and it's a beneficial side effect. But the bottom line is, I don't use these things because I don't want to smoke. I use these things because I prefer them to smoking. Do you know? I could make an example, but I'll just get wrong off Sav if I do. No, I will. I'll just get wrong. So, right, yeah, when you got in, Lorien, and you were actually talking sensibly alongside Tom, that was great. It was fine. It was lovely. But prior to that, seriously, man, I mean, that bloke, David Bailey, I think it was, that they had on from the BMA. Seriously,
I missed that.
he made Drakeford sound sensible. Sorry, Wales, but that's the way it is. He made Drakeford sound sensible. What a tosser. So Radio 4 you did as well, didn't you?
So this is an interesting one. And I found out what it was for after I did the interview, and that's what made me really happy. So I'm going to say that at the end of explaining what it was, because to me it sums up something very important. I got a phone call last week from Radio 4 asking if I would come into the studio and do an interview for the Today programme, which is pretty major because it has like 7 million listeners. I mean, it's huge. So all I knew is it was about e-cig tax. And want to go in and talk about it. So I went into the studio and we talked through who NNA are and who I am and my experiences. And then she started asking questions about tax. So obviously I talked about the fact that punitive taxes are there to dissuade use, and why would you want to do that? So, I mean, all the arguments that we already know, but it was nice to be able to give them as a part of a pre-recorded interview. And then she asked if an e-cig tax would affect me. I said, well, no, because I didn't switch for money in the first place. I didn't switch to save money. I switched because I found the whole thing intriguing and nothing else had worked, and I liked the idea of flavours and I liked technology. It was nothing to do with money. So tax wouldn't affect me, but it would affect every smoker and every new vapor. It would put people off, and it's about dissuading use. So then she said, well, given the nicotine is addictive, don't we want to dissuade use of nicotine? Which was perfect, because then exactly as Dave has just said, you get to talk about the pleasure factor and the fact that you enjoy it, and it becomes a moralistic judgment on nicotine use when, as a society, we take risks. Human beings, we take risks. We kind of like risks. It's fun. And when we all drink tea and alcohol and coffee and all these things, it was nice to get all of this kind of out in an interview situation for kind of a very well-respected programme. So we've got through the whole interview. She asked some other questions. And I said, and we stopped the recording, she said, no, thanks very much, that was great. And I said, well, so what is this for? So, well, the Today programme is running a 10-part series on everyday items affected by the EU. And I said, you're kidding me. So e-cigarettes are an everyday item. I mean, to me, I was sat in the studio on my own. I felt like crying because for me, that was such a remarkable moment. They've put together a series of 10 items that are affected by the EU, and they chose e-cigarettes as an everyday item. How glorious is that?
I have a graphic that I use very regularly on Twitter. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to get my hands wrapped for this, but that is fan-fucking-tastic. Is what that is. That is brilliant. E-cigs are now an everyday item. The mainstream. We've broken through. So, come on, what more have you got to add to that then, Lorien? Because I'm celebrating the vape tonight.
Particularly on a flagship radio programme like that.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yes. Very much so.
See, I didn't realise it had 7 million listeners.
Yes. Definitely.
I really didn't. and that's 7 million listeners hearing that e-cigs are an everyday item. Oh, go on, Laurie, and tell me more.
Well, that's the thing, and exactly as just said. It's if we had a series, ITV did a series on 10 items affected by the EU, you simply wouldn't get 7 million people tuning in. TV programs,
Yeah.
unless we were on X Factor, you don't get those kind of figures.
Yes.
So for us to get that platform with that many listeners and such a well-respected radio station and television, actual particular show, is astonishing. And the nice thing is, because I asked who else they were going to get on, which is lovely hearing what Sarah was just saying about Deborah Arnott yesterday, the only other people they're looking for is they're going to speak to Ash and they're going to speak to a tax expert. So this isn't even going to be a programme where it's just having to fend off the BMA or fend off the WHO. This is purely a programme about whether or not tax is appropriate on a product which is helping people and people are enjoying. I mean, that is the sum total of the whole thing. Beautiful.
It's yes, it's fantabulistic. It's marvellous. I'm just going to say, Sav, are you there? I've got to do this. Unmute yourself. Sav. Yes. Keep speaking. Come up. No, you've muted.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, right. You can't do sums, can you?
No, apparently not.
Yesterday. Yes?
Yeah,
7 years, darling.
this is 7.
It's 7
Time
years.
flies when you're having fun.
She's there. It's 7 years yesterday that Sav switched. That Sav found something more enjoyable, Sav?
Oh, definitely.
Were you looking to quit?
Nah. I seen a post on a forum. I thought, that looks funny. Must try it. Tried it. Still doing it now.
There you go.
That was it. Had no intention of quitting whatsoever.
Hang on, Kate's got something profound.
You see, what distorts the whole thing is you mention the word nicotine.
Uh-huh.
Nicotine's associated with cigarettes and tobacco.
Uh-huh.
And all you get is that negativity because of the lack of education that nicotine is separate from the nasties of tobacco.
Well, this is why what Mario had to say last.
Exactly.
You've probably gathered it's made one hell of an impact on me, and I'm hoping it's made one hell of an impact on everybody else as well. And I still have got no idea.
Me. Because, I mean, basically, we deal with the politics of it.
Uh-huh.
The negativity of the politics of it.
Uh-huh.
And what she came across. This is a cause for celebration.
Too bloody right.
And that left an impact, I think.
Well, it did
a major impact.
It did me, and I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Look, I got a perm sent to me by Tom N, capital E, capital N, Tom, capital E, capital N, on oh come on, UK Vapors, and he must have PM'd me and it got emailed at me. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play a quick. I'm quicker than you are. Look at something in, and then I'm gonna read you this perm, but I'm gonna read you it in Geordie. And what I'm gonna do when I've done that, I'm gonna do a video that has the perm. That's a poem, by the way. If you're not from these parts, it's a poem, perm. I'll read you this, but I'll play you this while I find the email that's got it in, because it's fabulous. And I tonight I want to be celebrating the vape with everybody. I want to be celebrating the vape with Wales. I want to be celebrating the vape with Sarah and what she was doing at the Department of Health. I want to be celebrating the vape with Save e-cigs because they've done such a good job and they're going out on a high. And I want to be celebrating the vape with Lorien and what she's been doing on the telly. And I want to be celebrating 7 years of vape with Sav, and it's 7 years for me in May as well. So have a look at this. This is just my attempt to be quicker than Demetrius Agraphiotis. If you'd been watching Monday's show, you would have seen our friend Demetrius Agraphiotis, the vaping Greek, waving about a new piece of kit from Aspire. It's called the Plato. And he did say at that point in time that he's going to be having a look at it for next week, which he is. And he'll probably be working on the mouth to lung side of things. Well, I've got one as well. Paid for mine, as you do. Bought it from Aspire, or e-cigaspire.co.uk is where it came from, that I paid for, and they've delivered it. It's great. Shall we have a look at it? And I'm going to go direct to lung. So let's have a look and see what this thing is all about. And here it is. This is the beastie. It says on it, look, Aspire Plato. Get the light right, David. There you go. It's an Aspire Plato. Go the right way. There you are. And it's an all-in-one. And I'm just going to take the side off, and you can see how easy that is. Look, I'll do it again. It's dead easy. Look. Pull, fingertips. Magnetic catches. All good. So inside you have the battery, and this came in the kit. The battery did. Well, not this one, another one. And this is the business end, the tank. And you can see it's fillable at both ends. So that'll lift up for the fill. Lift it up, I'll show you. Bingo. Fill hole. Just a little rubber bung. And this lifts up. Now, this one's not on the top. I've twisted it round because I want to try and show you this. There is, if you can see there, a small amount of gappage on the bit that's got the writing on, which doesn't matter which way around you slide it, that's always handy, but that little bit of gappage just stays there. It's not terrifically bad, you know, but it's there. Anyway, so right now, here's the point. This Plato in this enclosed tank will take two types of coils, and this would be the mouth to lung type. It's you might recognise it. It's an Atlantis coil. Now, as ever, my fingers are terrible. Where's my cloth? So this is the mouth to lung setup with the Atlantis coil, which I know Demi's going to go into, so I'm not going to go too far at that. You get a whole load of other stuff in the box as well, which includes the spare rubbers, so that you've got more sealage available to you, and there's a charging lead, as you would expect. As I say, as it comes, it's got this mouth to lung setup in, which I'll leave to one side. So I've put in the other setup, which is the direct to lung, and you get this little key. What's the little key for, David? I'll try and show you. When you get this thing, you can unscrew this area, and that pulls out the whole assembly. So what I've got in here now at this point in time is not the Atlantis coils. This is in fact the Plato coil. So it's a Plato coil that fits in there. So effectively what you've got is a little Plato, and you get the wider bore semi-chuff cap jobby that fits in. Takes any 510, so it doesn't matter. And when you look at that, you think, how the hell am I going to get that battery out? Dead easy. Little hole in the back, look. So what happens when you plug the battery in? Now this, I'll freely admit, does get to me a little bit. I'll put the battery back in, and you can see what happens, because I'm going to have the screen towards you. It's correctly done, by the way, so the springy bit is where the negative is. Oops. Right, springy bit where the negative is. So there you go. Springy bit in, boink. And this is what you get. This is it powering up. And as it powers up, it says wattage mode. Well, yes, that's what I want. Regulated, yes please, I don't want to bypass. Fine. Confirm, yes. That's every time you put a new battery in. That's the way it works. After that, the confusing bits, if indeed there are any, would be here. Now, as you can see, I've got to put my hand here to shade the lights off it. The plus is on, if it was stood upright, the left hand side. The minus is on the right. Now you can see it better there. That's kind of the other way on. Good things about the display, if I turn it that way, you'll see it's the right way up. If I turn it that way, you'll see it's the right way up. And at some point, you might even see it swivel. So there's no messing about. Do you want to use it right-handed, left-handed, whatever handed, it goes the way it goes. It's also chargeable and upgradable through the USB port there, which is also rather good. So now, where do I want to be? There we go. So it's simple. It's a tank system. Filling it, sorting it, coiling it, all of that kind of stuff is dead easy. And I know Demetrius is going to go into a lot more detail on that, so that's fine. I shall leave it for him to do. But I wanted to look at it purely and simply from the point of view of the direct to lung vapor, because that's my job. Direct to lunging. As you will have seen, I've got it set to 50 watts, which is the maximum it'll go to. So let's give it a blast and see what happens, shall we? That's a bit nice. You can see what it's putting away. I mean, this is just what you can see now. Clouds of vapour. Mouth to lung, right. How would it compare to a Plato? Right, so now I've got a Plato here on another piece of kit, which I'm going to have a look at it a little bit later on. And this Plato has much better airflow, as in it's opener, it's airier, and you can draw better. That's producing very nicely, thank you. So let's have another go on the Plato. You might be able to hear the difference. So it's slightly tighter, but no less effective. Let me just show you on here where the airflow is. And there it is at the bottom. And it has a little sticky out handle. So you can, should you so desire, twizzle it round and tighten it off. Now, there's no way am I going to use a Plato atomizer in mouth to lung mode. It's just not going to happen. It's got to be used, a Plato atomizer has got to be direct to lung. I have yet to play with the mouth to lung, but what I am going to say is, I like the idea that I can use the Plato atomizers in this thing. I like the idea that, unlike a certain other Kanga device, this thing hasn't taken a dump on me. It has not weed. It has not leaked. It has not dropped any juice where I did not want it to drop juice. As in, it's been completely dry. Continent. No wee-wees out of it. That, I think, is a pretty good thing. I would have no problems sticking this in my pocket. The other good thing about it as well, of course, if you wanted to, and here I shall go back to close the uppy cam, if you wanted to, if you weren't sure, you could close the air holes right off and stick it in your pocket. And then when you want to take a vape, open the air holes up. It's just a case of turning the thing round and you can get it where you want it. From, well, I'll try and get it completely closed. Oops, too far. Back a bit, there you go. So completely closed, I'm going to try and take a drag without keying it. There's some airflow, but it's very, very little, I'm here to tell you. So yes, very, very quick that was. Really a first look. There's awful lot more to it. This 0.4 ohm coil, it's reading it correctly, it does the wattage thing, it'll do past it, and Demetrius will go through all kinds on Monday. Let's be honest, I just wanted to beat him to it. There's no wrong with that, is there? Back to the studio. Yes, that was me. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Looking in the
looking
cupboard.
in your cupboards.
That's not where the porn is, Keith.
Ah, sorry.
Good grief. I mean, just ask. Hang on.
No, what?
No, it's all right. I've got it. I've got a thumb drive here full of it. If you want it.
A thumb drive.
Ah, it's a thumb drive. It's a memory stick, But it's only a small one, so it's dwarf porn that's on there because they're not very big. Never mind.
I was looking for more devices, that's all.
How many more devices do you want?
Well, you keep saying there's more in the cupboard, that's all.
Well, there is.
All right. Wrong cupboard.
No, when I realised you could open it, I've moved them.
I thought you might, yes. Right.
As you do.
Yes.
Right, yes, where was I? The Aspire Plato. There'll be more on Monday. That's right, isn't it, Matt? You've got the Aspire Plato on Monday with Demetrius?
I think we have, yeah. I've not checked the last couple of days, I've got to be honest, but I think we've got it.
By gum, Lorien, you don't half sound like Matt. There he is.
God, can you see him?
I can barely see him. What the hell are you vaping in there, mate?
It's the milkman again, Dave.
The milkman, eh?
Yeah, I'm trying to bring all the boys to the yard.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yes, we're celebrating the vape tonight. Keith
It's like a
is...
foggy scene of Jack the Ripper.
Beg your pardon?
A foggy scene of Jack the Ripper.
He's Matt.
Don't
What?
It's Matt the Vapor, not Jack the Ripper.
all
But it amounts to the
right.
same sort of thing. Yes, so we are, where are we? We're celebrating the vape tonight is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. You might notice, look how much of that he's drunk.
Hey!
Look how much of that he's drunk. And you can see, mine's much fuller.
Oh, God.
It's also 3 times the size. Cheers.
Yeah.
Celebrate the vape. Now, Sarah has a message. Sarah?
Yes.
There she is. You have a message, haven't you? Go on. This is from the NNA. Official.
I do have a message. It's a message for Tracy Bavister, who's better known as Mrs. Reptile Keeper, who sold a beautiful blue and silver bracelet on eBay for, and the proceeds were for NNA. She managed to raise 40 quid, which is fantastic, and I'm just praying that whoever bought it as a present for me.
So there you have it, Tracy Bavister. Wherever you are on the face of the planet, you have the grateful thanks of everybody at the NNA and every vapor throughout the world. Thank you so much for doing that. That is absolutely fabulous, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't that gorgeous?
A nice gesture.
It is. It is. Now then, I actually do have more video to be going at as well tonight, but is there anything else anybody on the panel wants to bring up? Has anything come up in chat? Who wants to say something? Because tonight's the night. It's a celebration night. How we're going to celebrate. Wales has been good. Department of Health has been good. Radios 4 and 5 have ended up being good. It's all good. So, anybody? Red, you're unmuted. Speak to me.
Well, we've got some very good advocacy news. Is that Vapers in Power and the New Nicotine Alliance have their very own stand at Vape Jam in 2 weekends' time.
That is indeed true. That is in fact the case. And I shall be there all 3 days, although I won't arrive before lunch on the Friday. And Sarah's going as well, aren't you, Sarah? No reply came the answer.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible with that mute button thing.
Mute button thing.
Yes, I'm going on the Saturday. I'm going to get up there Saturday because Andy Morrison is flying down. And he's going to be there on the Saturday, and then I'm going to pick him up. He's staying at mine, and then we'll all be there on Sunday.
All right, the full team on Sunday.
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's all 3 of us on Sunday, and then Andy's staying over again, flying back on Monday.
Oh, that's going to be excellent. Well, I'm getting down there around about lunchtime because I can't leave on the Thursday night, obviously, because the Thursday night's a show night. So I'll be leaving at the crack of Sparrow Fart on the Friday morning to get down there and get on the stand. I'll be there for the business-to-business bit, which is great. And Rid, when are you getting there, Ridian?
I'm getting there on. I'm actually travelling up on the Thursday.
Is that right, is it?
I'm going up on the Thursday, and I will be there for all 3 days. And Jessica will be there, Abby will be there, Liam is looking to be there. So yeah, it's going to be a very packed advocacy stand. Oh, at least Vapers in Power and NNA. And we're doing a couple of presentations as well.
Are we?
On the Saturday. Well, we as in Vapers in Power are on the Saturday and Sunday.
Right. Well, okay. I'll back you up if you want. I don't mind. My milkshakes bring the boys to the yard. I don't care. I'm going
Mine
to.
doesn't.
Yeah, well, I'm going to celebrate the vape and how that hashtag is going to live with me forever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that actually, because I have the feeling that while last year's Vape Jam was, how can we put this, less than ecstatic about advocacy, I have the feeling that this year there's going to be a fair few people really, really want to know. So yes, if you're around for Vape Jam, which is April Fool's Day, the day after that and the day after that, that would be the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of April.
And where's this at?
This is at London in the XL, isn't it?
Yeah, the XL Centre in the Docklands.
Is where it's at. And I've booked my hotel. So we're going down for... Oh, yes, it's all booked. We're going down for that, training down. I'm taking my wife. So if you've never met Jill and you want to, she'll probably be there one of the days. Don't know which.
Oh, right.
But she'll be there one of the days. So if you want to meet Mrs. Hi-Fi Stud... What?
Nothing.
Go on, speak.
No,
She's a lovely girl. She's brilliant. And she is a mouth-to-lung vaper.
well, she did crochet me a dishcloth
She's knit me a rice
with
pudding.
love.
She did, yeah?
Yes.
No, she used cotton.
No, I treasure that.
Will you?
Oh, yes.
She's funny,
Use it every day.
Do you?
Yes.
On dishes?
Yes.
She crocheted me a face cloth.
Really?
Aye.
Uh-huh.
No, it's good.
Oh, right. I thought this
Use it
was
on the. I use it on the grandbairns.
Right.
She made the dishcloth out of wool, and she made the face cloth out of stale wool. It's brilliant for getting the muck off them. But you know, my wife. This is a segue, right? This is a segued link. My wife. You know how delicate she is.
Yes.
She's a bugger sometimes.
I can't imagine it.
Oh, she is. She keeps breaking things I give her.
Really?
Which prompted this. There are times, I have to say, when I wonder. You kind of get the impression that, you know, ladies are really tidy. Ages ago, I got my wife an Aspire Pegasus, which she likes a lot and uses a lot. Problem with it is, I'm not going to say she's buggered it, but have a look at what it looks like. And this is it. And you can see that where once there was a lovely coating, the old wedding ring has been catching on it while she's been using it. She's a thumber. I go that way. So we looked at it and I thought, well, what are we going to do about that? And it turns out you can get wraps. And here is just such a wrap. And it comes from zapwraps.co.uk. That's them. And this one is specifically dedicated. You can see it's all got bits cut out of it. And it's meant entirely to go onto the Pegasus. So let's have a look and see what makes it all up. The old eyes can never see this teary bit. But there it is. And if we pull it all out, get rid of the plastic shiny stuff, we have full instructions, and there they are. Wash your hands thoroughly from any oils. Clean your device with the alcohol wipe and allow to dry. Remove the control panel wrap from the backing paper, line it up and blah blah blah. So you line everything up and sort it out. So now, here's the thing. I should put the instructions down there, for I will need to follow them. There is the wrap itself. We'll put that to one side, and here is the alcohol swab. And you'll notice I'm doing this on a towel because my fingers are terrible for getting greasy. So let's take this thing out. And I'm recording this at stupid o'clock in the morning because Jill's disappearing off for a day or two. So we'll give it a good clean. Get rid of all the oily bits, the nasty bits. There's bound to be loads. Good clean all the way around. And I'm doing it on the towel so the towel dries it, you see. This is thinking ahead. Clean the bottom. Clean the top, although I might leave the top silver. We'll see how it looks. Give it a good old clean. Including that bit there. And then we'll just leave that to dry. You can see the crud that's come off it, look. Right, now, as you will be able to see, no doubt, I'm going to have to line these holes up with that. That's going to be the way to do it, so that the holes themselves will go over there and then wrap the whole thing round, so that the seam is going to be down here. So let's get a little bit closer in and see if we can't do this thing. So start by peeling that off, and then I think the best way to go about this is going to be to put this, I know this is going to look awfully upside down, line it up exactly. Press it down. Take the zap wrap round the corner, and this is going to be not easy to do on camera, but I'm doing my best. So far the fit's not bad. That corner bit might want some heat to help matters, because it's taking a bit of pressing down, and then making sure it's lined up. It's a bit like putting one of those covers on an iPhone. Ah, we are so fortunate, it overlaps. Excellent. Right. And there you go. Now it really does want just rubbing down properly. Especially that front bit. It doesn't seem to want to stick massively well. But that said, that doesn't look too bad, does it? Nice. So now, question is, will she want the top and bottom bit? Well, let's put the top bit on. So just peel it, whoops, David, come on. So just peel that off, and again place it, using your fingers to line everything up. And then press good and hard. No overlaps, you've still got that nice piece. And then the bottom. Now do it, yeah, let's do it. You don't have to, obviously, but you know, it's there if you want it. So all I'm doing is I'm just using my fingers to line everything up, because what I don't want to do is glue the bottom thing shut, the bottom battery door shut, and this is fiddly, but there it is. It has to be like this because the contacts on the bottom for the charging port that the thing stands in have got to be clear, and if I put that on, they're not going to be, so that can stay as is, otherwise it won't charge in the stand, because as you'll be able to see, there's no holes in there. So we'll leave that open. So there it is, that's a zap wrap done. I suppose if you wanted to, you could run a scalpel up there and make it seamless, but that's it. Zap wrapped. You do have to keep pressing that thing down, and it will stick eventually, I'm sure. That's better. The handling has warmed up the wrap itself, which is quite thick vinyl. Since I'm not going to be using this bit, let me try and show you what it's made of. Let's get really close in on it, and you can see that it is, heavily embossed, and you can see on the back it's quite thick stuff. So it's not the bendiest, but it is quite thick stuff. That's what's being used. So yes, that's the zap wrap now, and you can see on the unit itself that really looks rather fetching. And of course you've got all of the ability to move the thumb wheel, and that all does what it's, oops, I forgot where she got it set. 14 watts is where she's normally at. So that's what it looks like. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time tightening these down, pressing down, and just, you know, but I think over time it'll, well, let's face it, if we look at what it was like at the beginning and what it looks like now, I think I know which she'll prefer. And as I'm turning that, you'll be able to see the embossing that's on there. I think she'll like that. I hope so. So there you go. A zap wrapped Pegasus, and that was done in real time. I got a second zap wrap for Jill's second Pegasus, so let's do it in ultra time. Yes,
Right.
there you are. And Lolly Lubes has just said in chat, what a nice hubby DD is. I wonder what he's done. The answer to that is
God.
bugger all. I've been a good lad, haven't I?
Yes, quite, yes.
Sure about that.
Yes.
You want topping up, mate?
No.
Right.
Do you?
Mate,
want
no, I'm,
some?
yeah, what? Let's not mess about. There we go.
Bloody hell.
Right. Now then, what you may not know is, it's Saturday, isn't it? The 19th? 19th? Yes, the 17th today, Saturday. There's a protest going on in London.
St. Patrick's Day, isn't it?
Oh, is that not today?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
But that's not the 19th.
No.
No. Today's St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Saturday is the 19th.
Yes.
Now, if you are on if you're on Facebook, Brian Coe, Brissy Coe, he's in chat for those of you watching live. If you're watching on video on demand before Saturday, get onto Facebook, find Brian Coe. If you're on Twitter, it's Brissy Coe, right? And get the details of the protest that's happening on Saturday. Unfortunately, I can't be there. The diary, one of the reasons I did the whole Zap Rap's thing was to try and get out of what I've got to do on Saturday, but I can't. So there you go. So I can't be there, but there is a protest happening on Saturday in London in the smoke. I think it's outside the Department of Health. If you can be there, or be an oblate spheroid. Brian Coe, COE, he's in chat, right? It's there. Do it. Do it. Because, here's why. Even though the UK is getting off fairly lightly, certainly in comparison to other member states under the Tobacco Products Directive, we have to think about our friends in other states. Vapers, we are all one. We celebrate the vape, do we not? Isn't that right, Lorian?
Yes.
That wasn't fair.
No, it is. And I think at the end of the day, it's easy to underestimate how well we do compared to a lot of
Your volume went to crap there. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, stay exactly there. Don't move.
Don't move. I think it's easy to underestimate just how well we're doing in the UK compared to a lot of other countries, even though it's not ideal. Germany, Belgium, France, we know France is one of the countries that's pushed for tax. There are a lot of vapers who still desperately need us to be very vocal, widely, not just on our own soil.
And it's not just in Europe either. This is worldwide. I mean, our friends across the pond in the United States of Americania, in Canada, in Singapore, in various different places. We, in the UK, lead the world on e-cigs. That's just the way it is. We lead the world in terms of acceptance, in terms of usage, in terms of percentage, and all of that kind of thing. We lead the world. So we've got to make our voices heard, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to help our friends everywhere else in the world. We've got to celebrate the vape, and we've got to show the rest of the world how to celebrate the vape. We have got approximately 2 minutes before I've got to press the big red button that says stop and pour more gin. So what?
You've just poured some.
Yes, but I pressed the big red button that says stop and pour more gin.
Right, yes.
Look,
Yes.
you know Dame Sally Davies, when she goes to have a glass of wine, she thinks, will this give me breast cancer? Do you know what I do?
What?
I pour myself another gin and go, I couldn't give a shit.
Yes.
And that's exactly the way it should be. So, what I'm going to do is go through the guests and have them say their good nights however they wish, but they have to finish with vape on, vape hard, and celebrate the vape. And we'll start with Lorian. Lorian, say night night.
Good night, everybody. Vape hard and long and... I've heard this so many times and I still can't get it right.
Let me guide you. Vape on,
Vape on,
vape hard,
vape hard,
and celebrate the vape.
and celebrate the vape.
Excellente. Next up is a Ridian man, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Wasn't it?
Could it?
Haven't I?
We could go on all night if we wanted to.
Okay, Megan. Say night night, Rid.
Not like that, pal. Vape on, vape hard, and don't forget to celebrate the vape.
And next up is Simon Thurlow, who's still muted.
We're still muted, right? I can't do it as posh as Lorian, so I'll just say, not with Daddy Pope. And what was it? Vape on, vape hard, and celebrate the vape.
Wonderful. Sarah Jakes. Sarah.
Sorry. I'll get used to that one day. I'm going to the protest on Saturday. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go to the protest. Meet Sarah. Go on, Sarah.
I'm going to the protest on Saturday. I think it's actually Parliament Square. So yes, I'll be there. And Jamie Hollywood's coming down from Scotland, I hope, today. So that'll be fun. And apart from that, vape on, vape hard, and celebrate the vape.
Lovely jubbly. Sav.
Yours.
Say night night.
Night night.
Vape
on, and celebrate the vape.
And Matt. Go again.
Hello, and good night. And am I on screen now?
No.
Oh, all right then.
There you are.
Oh, hello, right. Good night. Vape on, vape hard, and celebrate the vape.
There you go. That's all of our guests tonight. Look, I want to say a great big thank you to everybody for joining us. All of our guests. Matt, Sav, the team, without whom I couldn't function. Keith, without whom I couldn't put the bins out. Never mind anything else. It's true, isn't it?
No, that's
is.
right. You can't do that,
No, I've
can
got
you?
right now.
No.
The problem with it is, Keith, they're too full of bloody bottles. The axles have bent. I don't know how to...
They have. I really struggled to pull yours out today.
Could you rephrase that?
No.
Oh, fair enough.
Right.
We're friends. Who cares? My thanks to Sarah Jakes, to Laurie Jolly, to Simon Thurlow, to Ridian Mann. Thank you so much, people, for joining us tonight. Thank you for your contributions, and congratulations on everything that you four have achieved over the last however long it is. I think you do a marvellous job, and I am so proud to be associated with all of you. You've got no idea. You really haven't. The love is in here, and it's coming out to you. But from Keith, from me, from Matt, from Sav, and from everybody else here at VT Towers, until we see you next time. Are you ready, Keith?
Yes.
Vape on! Vape hard! And celebrate
the vape!
See you next time.
Good
Take
night.
care. Good night.